afternoon and welcome. My name is Robin. I'm an academic professional at Georgia State's Intensive English program and the moderator of today's session. The IEP here at Georgia State offers academic English to community members and international students. I'd like to welcome you to GSU's Spring 2023 Global Career Series. This series features representatives from globally connected organizations to talk to students and recent graduates about rewarding opportunities to work in global spaces, either in Atlanta or abroad. We hope that you will feel inspired to pursue global careers, internships, and volunteer opportunities offered by these organizations. This series is organized each semester by the Atlanta Global Studies Center, the Center for Urban Language Teaching and Research, University Career Services, GSU's Global Studies Program, and Study Abroad programs. To learn more, please visit the websites listed in the chat. Today's session will focus on teaching English at home or abroad. We are delighted to bring representatives from CIEE Teach Abroad program, from the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, or JET, LaAmistad, and the Latin American Association. Our panelists are Lauren Massey, Senior Coordinator, CIEE Teach Abroad Programs, and Ashley Lozon, CIEE Teach Abroad Teacher. We have Valerie Stewart, Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, or JET, Omari Itomi, Adult Education Coordinator for LaAmistad, and Webb from the Latin American Association. In just a moment, I'm going to ask the panelists to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their organizations. But first, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. First, this session is being recorded. We ask that you keep your mics muted to reduce any noise during the session. After the presentations, there will be a moderated Q&A. We have some questions prepared for the panelists, but we also want to hear from our audience. So please type your questions in the chat at any time. And now let's learn more about our panelists. Let's start with you, Lauren.
Hello, I'm Lauren Massey, one of the coordinators for Teach Abroad with CIEE, and I'm going to share my screen. Just one second. Okay, can you see this? Great. Okay, so I teach abroad with CIEE. We're going to talk about some programs that there are for opportunities to go and teach English abroad. First, I'll introduce myself. I'm Lauren, and I taught abroad in South Korea 10 years ago, right after I graduated from college. I really wanted to just go do something different, get out of my bubble, and also be able to make money abroad, and Korea just seemed like a perfect fit. So I ended up working in a private school. About a month or two into my contract, I was like, okay, I have to stay for more than a year. So I ended up staying for 2 years, was able to just save up money and pay down some student loans and also save up to travel. And also Ashley, she's going to introduce herself real quickly. She's also a staff member with CIEE and an alumni of our Thailand program. So do you want to introduce yourself, Ashley?
Yeah, hi, my name's Ashley. I also work for CIEE as a senior coordinator. I manage the Thailand program. I taught English in Thailand a few years ago. Those are some pictures of me and my students. I taught there for 6 months. I did it right after I graduated college. I wasn't really ready for the 9 to 5 in the States just yet. And I really wanted to travel. So Thailand was calling my name, and yeah, I went there for 6 months.
Thank you. Okay, so what is CIEE? We're a nonprofit, non-government organization that is been around for over 75 years, right after World War II. And it's helped thousands of people gain knowledge and skills necessary to live in a globally interdependent and culturally diverse world. We have programs for teach abroad, but also study abroad, high school, work exchanges, and more. And our programs right now, we send people to teach English overseas in Spain, Thailand, and South Korea. So a little bit more about the programs and the options that we have is where do we place people is in Spain. Our biggest program is in the region of Madrid, and we send people every fall and every January. There is still time to apply. We'll talk about application deadlines later, but it is a part-time job. It's 4-day work weeks, pretty low-key, not the really fast-paced life that you would have back in the States. It's a good way to go to Europe and just enjoy working in a new country and also being able to travel on your long weekends. If you want a shorter program, we have a volunteer program in Spain as well, in a more rural area, but you get to live with a host family. So if you really want to practice your Spanish fluency, get meals per day, and then exchange for just some volunteer hours, that's a good option as well. And then we have programs in Thailand and South Korea. Both of those programs come with rent-free housing. They're full-time jobs. It's a good opportunity to live and travel in Asia. But those are our core programs where we send people. And if you want more information, of course, you can always ask us about which one would be a good fit for you, whether you're looking to gain Spanish fluency or just be able to travel or be able to go travel Southeast Asia or have the ability like me going to South Korea and being able to pay down some student loans. For the programs, we have programs that are under 6 months or over 6 months. In Madrid, there's an option to do either or for less than 6 months or the full contract year with the option to renew for a second year. The volunteer program is 3 months. It's a little bit less than 90 days so that you don't have to worry about a visa. Thailand, there's a 6-month option and a 1-year option with the chance to renew for an additional year as well. And in South Korea, it is required to go for 1 year. And all these programs, well, besides the volunteer one, have opportunities to stay longer than the full year. The eligibility requirements, Ashley, do you want to go over that?
Yeah. So the eligibility requirements, it is required that you have native level English speaking skills, a bachelor's degree in any field. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to have teaching experience, you just have to have that bachelor's degree. And then it is required that you have a valid passport with citizenship in the US, the UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. We are adding South Africa to this list to teach in Thailand soon. So that's something that we're looking forward to. And then eligibility requirements, we do also offer a TEFL certificate. Some programs it is required. I know for the Thailand program and the Spain program, it is not required. For the South Korea program, it is included. And then just a positive attitude and openness to embrace living in a new culture and flexibility and just being excited to branch out. And then career paths. So popular majors for Teach alum in our programs. Literally, we have had people from international studies all the way to history or kinesiology. So it doesn't matter what your degree is in. You can have it in child development, education, of course, but you could also have it in, anthropology, business, finance, nursing, math. It really does not matter as long as you have that bachelor's degree. And then a gap year, 2 or 3 abroad is a great way to build your resume and see the world in a unique way that careers cannot teach at that time. So it is a great opportunity to gain those skills while you teach abroad, while you're living in a new environment, working in a new place. And then here is our QR code to our Instagram page where we have some of our alum talk about their experiences from teaching abroad.
Great. And just real quick, and we'll wrap it up soon, is we do have a May 1st upcoming deadline. So there's about a month for several of our programs. If you're looking to go to Spain this fall or South Korea this fall, you can apply by May 1st. And for Teach in Thailand. So all of our programs have May 1st deadlines, including volunteers. So that gives us a lot of time, another full month to get applications together. You can open an application here at my.ciee.org. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can schedule a call with us. There's a QR code to schedule a call directly, and I'll also just put in the chat that you can email us at teach@ciee.org if you want to request any more information. We do like getting people on the phone individually just to talk about your goals, why you want to go abroad and what's important for you, and just to also see what country may be a good fit in case you're indecisive. But yeah, that's what we have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Lauren and Ashley from CIEE Teach Abroad. Now I'd like to introduce you to Valerie Stewart from the JET program, the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see my screen. So I'm Valerie Stewart from the JET program, which is the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. So a little bit about me. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I went to the University of Georgia. I was a participant on the program in Saga Prefecture. You see that little arrow in Kyushu in 1999 to 2002. And currently I am one of 3 JET alumni country representatives. So it means I'm an international representative from the United States for the alumni on the JET program. And I included this picture because while studying abroad in Japan during my time in college, I went to an Erykah Badu concert. The lady in the front with the coat on, that is how I learned about the JET program really. So hopefully something I'll say will encourage you to look into it further. So what is the JET? So what is JET? It's one of the world's largest English teaching programs. And the main goal is to really promote internationalization in Japan's local communities by helping to improve foreign language education and developing international exchange at the community level. So we really try to lean on the E in the JET program, which is exchange. So what it's not, so the JET program is a full paid time job opportunity. You are contracted by a local Japanese Board of Education or prefecture or state, and you work for them. It's not a study abroad program. Complete immersion in the culture. It was life-changing. I'm still involved 20 plus years later, and the application is 100% online. There's 2 main positions with the JET program. One is assistant language teacher, or ALT, which is what I was, and then coordinator for international relations, or CIR. So as an assistant language teacher, you're team teaching in either elementary, junior high school, or high school. So you work with the Japanese teacher of English, plan lessons, and then also you have the opportunity to work with students after school with clubs and speech contests. Whereas on the coordinator for international relations, the CIR position, Japanese ability is required where it's not for an ALT. You do things such as translate, maybe you're a tour guide, you may teach adult English classes, give cultural presentations. So you are the English native cultural expert in the community. Work hours. So it's a 35-hour work week. Typically the day is from 8:30 to 4:30 or 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. You do get 10 days of paid vacation and all Japanese holidays, which is about 15 per year. The salary, so it's a 1-year contract. It starts, so this is the breakdown, 1-year renewable contract, and with it being sort of a tax-free for the first 3 years. The years 4 and 5, if you're still there, you are paid a little bit more. In addition, they will pay for transportation to and from Japan. You get enrolled in health insurance and you're part of the pension program. There's also accident and employment insurance that you are a part of. Every situation is different, is a mantra that we say. Some people do get subsidized housing, but that may not be the case for everyone. And so the eligibility to lead, so this program is in over 36 countries. So teachers from that many countries are part of the JET program, but to apply from the United States, you have to be a US citizen. You must have a bachelor's degree, be in good mental and physical health. And as you see the requirements, because it's more of an exchange program, they don't want you to have lived in Japan for a long period of time. And also you have the opportunity, if you've been on the JET program before, you can apply again. But if you declined a position, you're not eligible. And so what is the timeline? So the application, again, it's all online. It becomes available in October, and the deadline is the end of November. And there's a statement of purpose, references, and just general information about any language ability, maybe working with international students, those sorts of things. Then if you're successful in the first round, there are interviews in January or February. April, the announcements are made, and then June, July is orientation, and then the new teachers go over in July and August. So it's something to keep track of. It is a long application timeline. So if you are a senior, if you're still in college, think about it at the beginning of your senior year to apply. And all the information is found on the jetprogramusa.org website. And this is where you can contact us, the website to stay up to date. You can also contact the Embassy of Japan directly. I'm always available to answer any questions that you may have. And the JET program is on Facebook and Twitter, as well as the Alumni Association. There's 19 chapters. So if you type in JET Alumni USA, you should be able to find us. But thank you.
Thank you so much to Valerie Stewart from the JET program. We appreciate it. Next up is LaAmistad, and I will hand it over to Omari Itomi, Adult Education Coordinator.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate you for sharing your time and being here. Yes, we are LaAmistad. LaAmistad, if you don't know, means friendship. We have first, the mission of LaAmistad is to prepare specifically Latino students and families for success through academic and life enrichment programs. We have a robust after-school tutorial program, and that is basically the foundation of the organization. It started off in 2010 with just 2 programs in 2 locations, and it's now expanded to 14 locations throughout Georgia. This is especially important for our organization because as we're seeking volunteers and interns and also staff positions, there are 5 core values, and we always want to make sure there's the right seat and the right role for each person, each personality, and each talent. And those core values are kindness, excellence, passion, teamwork, and perseverance. And yes, that may sound very cliche, but the people in the organization sincerely embody these values, and we want you to love your work and love all the things that you do once you do become a part of LaAmistad. I'm going to speak it into existence. So right now I'm the adult ed coordinator, and my role is new. And so we have now added on our adult education program. So we're offering ESL classes for the adults in the Sandy Springs community mostly, but we would love to see have a vision of us expanding all throughout Georgia. So skill sets that with people with great vision and who are bilingual and or just willing to be just teachers and educators for ESL, we're looking for you. And so we have 10-week sessions. We roll out different cohorts based on the need of the community. They're low cost, usually at about $50 for the 10-week course. We've just realigned the curriculum. We have online and in-person classes. So if you'd like to participate and you can't participate in person, we have several online classes opening. We need to open up to 5 within this next quarter. So interest can be either or. And what it's like, it's very family oriented, very a safe space to learn and make mistakes. We've got open communication, a great learning experience, and we just want constant growth. So if you're a person who is good at having a blank canvas and coming up with ideas and running with those ideas, we really are looking for you. Specifically in my center, we're looking for, again, bilingual volunteers and interns who will be able to assist with canvassing, assist with getting out into the community and making connections into the community to help bring more people into our new location. We have a co-teacher model, robust training. So if you just got your TEFL certifications and you really need to figure out the hours and get hours, there are lots of spaces for teaching so that you can get that experience or shadow other teachers. We have a great prepared curriculum that aligns with the research so that in each level, students get 30 weeks of language instruction and focusing on use in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And we're developing a resource library for all the new constituents to come in to connect with services. And we would need help with lots of translation of programming and brochures and things of that nature. And so that is LaAmistad. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can go to our website. You can reach out to me, Dr. Omari Itomi, and I would love to hear from you and speak to you more about any opportunities you may be interested in with our company. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Omari Itomi from LaAmistad. And now I'll turn it over to Caitlin Webb from the Latin American Association.
Thank you so much, Robin, and thank you to GSU for putting this together. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Caitlin Webb, and I'm the Adult Education Manager here at the Latin American Association, and I'm going to share my screen really quickly. All right, so the mission at the Latin American Association is to empower Latinos to adapt, integrate, and thrive. And we do this through 4 programmatic areas. Let me see if I can get my PowerPoint to participate. There we go. Got it. So we have family stabilization and well-being. We have youth services, economic empowerment, and immigration services. And since July of last year, we have touched over 34,000 individuals. So it's truly an honor to be working for the LAA. A little bit more about my program, the Adult Education Department. I can truly say that this is the best job that I have ever had. I'm obsessed with my job. As a former educator, I think it's really important that our program is so connected with our students. So we really involve the students in every part of the learning process. We get a lot of feedback from them. We're really involved with the students because we want the classes to be as relevant and useful as possible for them. I also am afforded a lot of creativity in my position, and that for me as an individual is very, very important. We have 3 different programs within the Adult Education Department. We have ESL, Spanish, and ESL instructor workshops. So for both ESL and Spanish, we offer online and in-person private, group, and corporate classes. Our group classes are given both via Zoom and in person at our Buford Highway location, and we have schedules in the morning, in the evening, after work, and on weekends. So our clients are working adults, they have a lot going on, and I want the schedule to be one less barrier that they have to be able to access these classes. And so we try to make it as convenient as possible for them. Something very unique about our program is that because we are offering both ESL and Spanish classes, we do something called an intercambio, which is a language exchange between the 2 classes. So once or twice a session, we bring the classes together and we do an hour-long activity where they spend 30 minutes speaking in English and 30 minutes speaking in Spanish. It's amazing. It really brings, the community together. It puts everyone on a level playing field, and it's something that our students really enjoy. One thing that we offer that I think a lot of people don't know about is our corporate classes. And for me, this is one of the more important aspects of our program because it directly affects a student's work environment. One of our most recent classes that we did for ESL was for a fiber optics factory that's near our location on Buford Highway. And we tailored their curriculum to focus on safety and benefits. And so we taught English so that they understood all of the warnings and the safety labels that they were going to see in their day-to-day job. We taught them how to access their benefits, and just seeing the change in the students over that session was really amazing and rewarding. So that's something I think is very important in our program. We also offer ESL instructor workshops. Some of you may have attended before. These are free. And we do them about 6 times a year. They're for either new ESL teachers or those that have been in the field and want to do continuing education. And they vary in topics from hard skills, learning technology for teaching online, to theory and pedagogy for accessing multiple level classrooms. One of my favorite projects that we've been working on this year is called Coffee Hour. And it's a bi-weekly language exchange program. It's here at the LAA in our Acciona Business Center. It is a super casual environment. There's couches, cocktail tables, and it's just a really cool way to practice the language skills. So it's 30 minutes English, 30 minutes Spanish. It's a great way to network and meet people, and it's super fun. We also have partnered with our workforce development team, our Latina entrepreneurship program. And so each week we feature a new Latina entrepreneur to sell coffee and food. So you're also supporting local businesses by coming to these coffee hours. This is a QR code to sign up. Again, it's completely free, and we welcome everyone to come and take part in this. As far as our recruiting needs, I'm always looking for teachers, always, always, always. We are constantly growing, and I need both online and in-person teachers for ESL and Spanish. Our workshops, again, I say they happen, about 6 times a year, but I'm flexible. And if any of you have an idea, I know some of you are students, a lot of you are students, but you have new and innovative ideas that would be helpful in teaching English, please shoot me an email. We can get something going. And substitutes, we always need substitutes. And this is a great way for those that don't have a ton of experience, but want to practice their skills. You would have to go through a short orientation, but then you can be placed on our substitute list. And this is a paid position. So anytime we need someone to cover a class, we reach out to the substitute list, and you will be given lesson plans, and you can take over the class and get some experience in. If you'd like to volunteer with our organization, we always need ESL teacher assistants. Sometimes the classes are a little bit larger than I'd like them to be, and so I like to bring in a volunteer so the students can have that one-on-one interaction with the teacher. For coffee hour, we're always looking for people to help facilitate, help come up with questions or themes for the coffee hour, and then to participate. And then tutoring volunteers, again, if we have students that are falling behind or struggling a little bit, we love to be able to offer them that extra help. And if you're looking to practice your skills, we can set you up with a student to help tutor. And this is my contact information. I can also put this in the chat as well, but please send me your resume. If you have any questions about our program or how you can get involved, I'd love to hear from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Caitlin Webb from the LAA. And thank you to all of our panelists. This is really wonderful. I'm really looking forward to our Q&A session. Thank you for helping us understand all of the work that you do and the various paths within your organizations. We will now move on to our Q&A and moderated discussion. And I'd like to remind the audience, I'm seeing some questions come in. Go ahead and keep typing up your questions for panelists in the chat. So let's go ahead and start. I will get to the ones in the chat with Lauren Massey. Get back to you. I'd like for you to think about a time when you were a new college graduate. What do you wish someone had told you back then that would have helped you make a wise career choice?
Yeah, so when I was about to be a college grad, it was going into my senior year, I just knew I wanted to teach abroad. And so I was scouring all of the resources, looking at getting TEFL certified, kind of just checking different blogs and organizations to see like what would be a good fit. I did know I would have a chunk of student loans coming out of this, so it was important for me to go somewhere where I could make enough money to pay that down. And so I think ultimately I just was like happy that I was on track during my senior year to go abroad. I didn't do this last minute. So like I said, we do still have deadlines that are May 1st, but really preparing in advance for the next step is going to be important. And I know, like, as a graduating senior, there's a lot going on. You're in the middle of your finals and your, final semester, so it can be a little bit overwhelming, but we're also like here to help and make a plan with you for like, this is a timeline of what you can work with to be successful. So really, like, I didn't really have many people like telling me what to do. I was doing a lot of that research by myself. So having someone to like kind of hold my hand through the process would have been nice, but also like we can help with that process if you're worried about timelines or budgets or finances or how to just even start the process.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. Lauren, you talked a little bit about study abroad. So I want to ask Valerie Stewart from the JET program, how does studying abroad prepare students for potentially working with your organization?
I think study abroad is important, and it does help because you have that firsthand experience in living in a different culture. So whether it is Japan or another culture, you're able to learn how to communicate when you don't know the language, maybe navigate on your own and figure out maybe what skills you internally don't have that you need to work on. I think it's helpful then to be in a job situation where you don't have that extra assistance. You're living in your own apartment, but at study abroad, you do have that help. So I do think it's very important. I know I did it and it helped immensely.
Awesome. Thank you. And Dr. Omari Itomi, what if students cannot study abroad? What can they do instead to prepare to work with international populations?
That is an excellent question. I would highly, highly recommend becoming fluent in languages, going amongst organizations like these to immerse yourself in different cultures and to be to learn more about what the cultural norms are for whatever different group or culture interests you, and sometimes making that multiple groups. I would suggest keeping abreast to what is going on internationally, because the world is always changing. And yes, you may prepare for something now, but of course, it won't necessarily dictate what's going on in the future. That could look like currently, we know there's conflict between with Ukraine, lots of Ukrainians, and those families are coming to the United States. And so then, okay, because you know that, you can look for organizations that are servicing different groups and different cultures. So those three things are what I would say are just ways, if you can't study abroad, things you could do here in domestically.
Awesome. Thank you. And Caitlin Webb from the Latin American Association. You have a couple of very specific questions in the chat about teaching with your organization. Mariama asked if you need a teaching certificate to sub with the LAA.
No, to sub you don't. To eventually teach with us you do, but that's why the substitute position is really helpful in kind of getting that experience, because I know people are either in the process of getting their TEFL certification or they're still in school. We provide the lesson plans, and so you're not going to be necessarily coming up with the pedagogy, but you're going to have to facilitate it. So you'll go through an orientation with us and we will give you the materials. You just have to facilitate the class. So it's an excellent way to get involved with the organization and to kind of get your feet wet in, the career.
Awesome. And Janet Sevilla asked about curriculum guidance for teaching Spanish. Do you provide some kind of curriculum guidance? Can you talk to that?
Yeah, absolutely. For both programs, we do have set curriculum. And so you're not reinventing the wheel when you come to our classes. We just ask that teachers, bring them to life, right? So I have all the objectives set out within the curriculum, but I would like for you to take the creativity to come up with, conversation activities or movies or, songs and things like that you want to bring into the classroom to make it more engaging. But as far as curriculum goes, we have set objectives for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. And Ashley Lozon I'd like to ask you a question. What degrees are held by most of your colleagues in the field? Are graduate degrees needed or recommended?
No, not necessarily. I do not have my graduate degree. I know a couple of my colleagues do, but mostly having a bachelor's degree is totally okay. I know a lot of the skills that I gained through teaching abroad really helped me land a job in international education. So that was something that was really important in my interview. And I have a bachelor's degree in early childhood studies, so that was kind of tailored to teaching. However, I feel like I learned a lot of skills through teaching abroad that I did not learn in college through learning about education. So that is just personable skills, being uncomfortable in different environments. I learned how to adapt very well in those situations. So I think, teaching abroad is something that can really help you as far as landing jobs after college.
Awesome, thanks. And this message is for Valerie Stewart. In the JET program, are you able to switch between the two different teaching positions offered? This is from Michael Dodge.
You can, once your contract is up, because it's 1 year renewable, you can apply to be the CIR coordinator for international relations and vice versa if you wanted to, but you would have to apply. You couldn't just switch mid-contract.
And another question for you, Valerie. What tangible steps can students take while they're still in college to improve their chances of landing a JET position?
Okay, one, Japanese language is not required, but if you do learn some Japanese, it's helpful. It's extra bonus points on the application, so it could bump your chances. Also, I would recommend volunteering or working with youth in some capacity. It doesn't have to be Japan related, but that is important to know that you do have that those skills to work with youth.
Awesome, thank you. And someone asked how long it takes to get the TEFL certificate. So if you click those links in the chat, you can learn more about the TEFL certificate and the TESOL graduate certificate that is offered here at GSU if you're a student here, and they're wonderful programs. So definitely check those out. I think also CIEE mentioned a TEFL program as well. Lauren, could you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, CIE also has a TEFL program. It's an 11-week course. It's 100, we have a few different options, 180, 150, 60, and 30 hour. Most people get the 150 hour, that's valid all over the world. It's 11 weeks with 130 hours online. We have start dates every 2 weeks. And then there's 20 hours of in-person practicum at the end. And our TEFL coordinators help set you up to make sure you have a place where you can do your practicum. So they'll work with you one-on-one on finding a good spot for you. But yeah, that's one of those options as well.
Awesome. And Dr. Omari, Itomi, can you talk a little bit about what degrees are held by most of your colleagues in the field for your organization?
Yes, we have a wide range. Yes, I have a doctorate, but that is not a requirement. Wow, the talent varies. We have bachelor's degrees, we have no degrees, we have we have a little bit of everything. So I think the focus is the talent and the will. You could always come out and just kind of get your feet wet by volunteering in either our after school tutorial programs or in the adult ed sector. And then as you determine what things you like and your interests, guaranteed the staff and the executive directors will have an eye on your talents and the things you're doing. If you're a good fit for anywhere, we'll make recommendations. So there's a wide range.
Awesome. And there's another question in the chat that is asking if there's an age restriction for any of the programs and how is acceptance if we wait a year post-grad. So are any of the panelists a part of an organization that has an age limit? See a nod maybe from, go ahead.
Yeah, so some countries do, it's not necessarily our program, but countries have age restrictions to go abroad. But if you're ultimately like 59, so it depends how old you are in this chat. I know we're probably talking to a lot of younger college grads, but taking a year off after you graduate is fine. We have people who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who go abroad as well. But the majority are between 22 and 25. That's from my perspective at CIEE. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add.
Awesome, thank you. And this message is for Caitlin from the LAA. And realizing that not everyone can afford to take an unpaid internship and not everyone can study abroad, what other kinds of experiences do you recommend that can help students prepare for a global career here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I completely understand that. And I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time either. So it's just adding things in wherever you can. Like Dr. Omari said, volunteer. We have a ton of opportunities to volunteer at the LAA. You know, just getting involved in an organization that's important to you and you like the work that they're doing in any aspect that you can. So just getting yourself out there as much as you can, and volunteering is a great way to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And this message is for Valerie. We hear a lot about global competence. How would you describe it, and how do you know when someone has it?
Global competence. I would just, for me, I would say just being somewhat an aware citizen, kind of a citizen of the world, being sensitive to knowing that just because you've done things a certain way, you've learned things a certain way, doesn't mean that's the way it is somewhere else. So being open to embracing the different cultures and trying new things. So that's, I mean, that may not be the exact answer, but I think a lot of times when I'm speaking for Americans, but when students go abroad, they're taking their own biases with them. So just being able to be open to to new experiences, and then taking that back and sharing it with people where you're from just helps make a well-rounded individual.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Valerie. And Ashley. My spot. In what ways does your organization show its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Yeah, great question. So we really recently we have been trying to add more countries on our list to accept as far as like people we can accept to teach in Thailand, teach in Spain, teach in South Korea. We just recently added South Africa to our list. And that has been really important to us because we know that there are many well-rounded teachers in all parts of the world. Some of our visa authorities aren't so flexible when dealing with this, but we really try to make it work. So that's something that we've been really focusing on the past few weeks.
Awesome, thank you. And I would like to ask the same question to Dr. Omari Itomi.
We have a wonderfully diverse staff. Yes, we serve the Latino community, but all hands are on deck. We have staff members from a diverse body of Latin American countries, so Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras, you name it. But then also, we also have staff members who are African American, who are from just Jamaican, everywhere you can think of around the world. There's a little bit of everything going on at LaAmistad. So again, it's about friendship, and it's really about the heart of serving the community. And when we have different perspectives, love is just love, right? So yes, we want you to be really into the work that you do and bring your skills and talents, but having that heart is key, and an element of humanitarianism in your spirit also would be would be the most important thing. But we're very diverse.
Awesome, thanks. And I have a question from Kenya. And she says this question is for anyone. I would like to ask Caitlin, and anyone else can answer it after that. How has your organization changed over time? How did it adapt to the pandemic?
Thank you for your question. And I was here when the pandemic hit, and so it was crazy for us. At the beginning, we offered only in-person classes. And you know, at the time, the majority of our clients were not necessarily technologically savvy, but we didn't want to stop serving them during the pandemic, right? The need for English did not go away. And so we completely switched to online classes. And that was a huge move for us. We had to teach our teachers how to teach online. We had to teach our students how to access the classes online. And this goes throughout the entire organization. We continued to serve clients virtually throughout the entire pandemic. And I wasn't sure how it was going to be received, but we have continued to offer online classes until now. It's great. People love it. We have widened our reach for people that can't come to the organization in person. And so it's been a blessing in disguise for us, but it was definitely in the moment. We had to be flexible and we had to adapt very quickly. And I'm proud of us as an organization and of our clients to be able to take that on.
That's wonderful that you're able to expand access. And moving to some questions about our panelists. I think I will ask Valerie Stewart. How have your international experiences helped you develop as a human and as a professional?
I can say, like, honestly, the very first time I ever got on an airplane was to do a summer homestay in Japan. So it has truly opened up my eyes to see that there's more than just where I live. In Georgia, I've had the opportunity, even on the JET program itself, to meet so many different wonderful people from so many different countries, because there was 36 countries on the JET program. So in the next town, there were Canadians and Jamaicans and from the UK. And I probably never would have gotten that opportunity to meet and just be intimately connected with and be really great friends with everyone from all over the world as well. We're all living in Japan and sharing that experience. So it's made me see everything through a different set of eyes. And I was able to share that with my family who got to visit me and different things. So I'm still volunteering with the organization because of how it helped me, and like, I can't give back enough.
What an incredible impact. Thank you. Someone would like the email of the Latin American Association and LaAmistad in the chat. And this question is for Lauren. Did you study a foreign language?
Well, in college and high school, I studied Spanish, minimal, got to like understanding past tense a little bit. But when I went, my goal when I was going to South Korea was to learn at least how to say like hello and thank you and some of the basic phrases before I arrived. And I remember on day one in my taxi, I combined hello and thank you into one word, and I was really nervous. And I was like, okay, well, went horribly. It'll be fine. I'll learn it later. I did notice though, like just having basic phrases goes a really long way when you get abroad. So do like, you know, it's part of your responsibility to not just to expect everyone like, oh, I'm teaching English, so they should just speak English to me. So my goal was like to be able to get the basic phrases of Korean down so that I could communicate in taxis and at restaurants. I do regret not having learned more beforehand, but also it was just something where I was thinking it'll be easier to learn Korean when I'm there. And then just did language classes as well, language exchanges to meet people. So that helps a lot as well.
Awesome, thank you. And we have about 10 minutes left in the program. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and pop it in the chat so we can get your questions answered. Ashley, this question's for you. What skills have you learned in your professional life that have been vital to opening career opportunities for you?
I think a lot of skills that I've learned is, communication is a big part of any job. And I think that, in my teaching experience, I learned to ask questions. So even in those moments of where I felt like I didn't know what was going on, instead of just staying quiet, I learned to just get out of my comfort zone and just ask those questions, even if it made me feel uncomfortable, or I felt like I didn't want to look dumb, or like I felt like I was going to be embarrassed. Just ask the questions and communicate how you feel with your employers. And that's just key to having a good experience in your job. I think also when I was teaching abroad, I learned just the basic skills of like how to navigate discomfort when I was interacting with my Thai teachers, and how to start my teaching career there. Like I wasn't able to communicate with them well because of the language barrier, but just getting out of my comfort zone and spending extra time with them on my prep periods, I would just hang out with them and help them do their jobs that they were doing, like making food for their kids, for the students, that made them just gain respect for me. So stepping out of my comfort zone, and then we formed that bond and we were able to work together during my whole teaching experience. So just not staying in the dark, putting yourself out there, getting to know your employees and your colleagues better, asking those questions, I think has been something that really helped me be successful in my jobs.
Awesome, thank you. And Caitlin, this question's for you. What's more important in the work you do, soft skills or hard skills? Could you please elaborate?
Sure. So education and hard skills are very, very important. But for me as a hiring manager, if I see someone with passion, that's the most important thing to me. I obviously have standards for the organization and I want qualified teachers, right? But I can think of one person in particular, didn't have a ton of experience teaching English, but I could tell how much she loved it. And she is one of our best teachers. She really relates to the students. She can engage them. She's dynamic. And so for me, having that passion to do what you love and reaching the students, that's way more important. So that's what I look for when I'm hiring a teacher.
Awesome, thank you so much. I think I want to ask the same question to Dr. Omari Itomi. So what is more important in the work that you do, soft skills or hard skills?
I have to completely agree with Caitlin. Those soft skills, that passion, everything else can be taught, really. if you have that passion, and then I would add on to that to say that the world is so flexible now. I would suggest to all the graduates, all the people here, that start to focus in on your skills and learn to use your skills to solve world problems, because you can always create a job for yourself when you know you have a skill set and you see what that skill set is. You can go through companies and find ways, oh, they need this. Maybe they need me for this because I know how to do this. So that's what I would say. Yeah, hard skills are important, but those soft skills are, I think they take over, right?
Awesome. Ashley, would you like to elaborate on that? I saw you nodding. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, I think soft skills are so important in your jobs. Just having like Also, just having like emotional intelligence in your jobs is super important. Creating respect with your colleagues, just respecting everyone that you work with. I think soft skills are definitely something that I would look for way more than hard skills. I mean, obviously you want a good balance, but I think soft skills are definitely something that I would look for.
Awesome. Thanks. What an incredible panel. You guys are all doing such important work. Thank you so much to Lauren, Ashley, Valerie, Omari, and Caitlin for sharing your time with us today and telling us about the wonderful opportunities at your organizations. We appreciate your valuable tips and advice for current students and recent graduates. Thank you for participating in the GSU Global Career Series. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Many of our Global Career Series organizations will be recruiting students at the in-person Atlanta Global Studies Symposium on Friday, April 14th. Come shake hands with representatives at the GSU College of Law between 9:30 and 10:45. To learn more, you can click the link in the chat. This is the last session of the series, but if you missed any sessions, you can view them on our YouTube channel. We'll paste that link in the chat as well. Finally, I would like to thank the Atlanta Global Studies Center, the Center for Urban Language Teaching and Research, the University Career Services, the Global Studies Program, and GSU Study Abroad programs for organizing this series. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your spring semester and wish you success on your career journey. Thanks, everyone.